Okay, guys, our next topic in this math review is inequalities. So let's start by clarifying a couple of concepts that I consider are important for you to understand inequalities properly. And the first thing, well, we want to make clear, what are the signs? So as for the signs, remember that inequality looks very much as an equation. The difference that instead of having the equal sign, they're gonna have signs like this one, or this one, or it could be this one, or it could be like that. Okay, so let's understand this one clearly. So the first one is the less than, okay? Less than. Whenever you have an inequality or an exercise where you need to be dealing with an inequality and you see the expression less than, they are referring to this sign, okay? And if we have an example where you say, I don't know, x is going to be less than 3. So basically we know that x can take any value that is smaller than 3. So it can be negative value, it can be -7, -3, it can be 0, it can be 1, 2. Again, if they don't say that x is an integer, this could be 2.9, okay? It's going to be less than number 3, all right? The little difference with the next sign that we have here is that is the one that you call less than or equal to, okay, or equal to. So the less than or equal to will be given by this sign, less than or equal to. So it has this little line below, okay? And the difference, let's use the same example, x is less than or equal to 3. The difference between less than and less than or equal to 2 is that this expression here, it means that x can take the value of 3, whereas in the less than it cannot. It must be less than 3. It can never take the value of 3. So here x can take the value of 3, okay? That is the difference. It includes that limit. Similarly, the other two signs that you will see in exercise with inequalities are these ones. And the very first one is the one that we should read greater than, or again, maybe you don't see the expression and you need to write the inequality. So if you read this expression of greater than, you know what are we referring to, what is the sign that we need to write. Greater than is going to be this guy right here, all right? So x, or let's change the variable, y is greater than, I don't know, 2.5. Doesn't necessarily have to be an integer. So here we know that y, whatever value number it is, it can take infinite values, but any of those values must be necessarily greater than 2.5. It cannot be equal to 2.5, it cannot be less than 2.5. That's what we understand. And the very last one is when you read greater, oops, I was going to misspell, greater than or equal to. So similarly, this sign is the one that will look like this, same as the one above, but with a little line under it. So if we write y is greater than or equal to 2.5, same difference. In this case, that means that y can be equal to 2.5. So in this case, we know, for example, if we develop here in examples, we know that y can be equal to 3, y can be equal to 100, y could be equal to 2.6, okay, but it cannot be 2.5. The only difference here is that besides all the values that I just wrote above here, y can also take the value of 2.5 and any value that will be greater or bigger than that one, okay? So remember what is what we're looking for. This is how we should interpret this term, these signs, okay? Now, on how are we supposed to solve these inequalities? There's nothing weird or strange that we need to take into account because the inequalities, you solve them, okay? Exactly, I misspelled that again, exactly solve exactly the same, okay, as an equation that we already know how to solve it, okay? Equation. But, okay, with one exception, of course, but if at any given moment while solving the inequality, at any given moment, if you end up or you see that you have to multiply or divide only these two by a, pay attention to this one, negative number, okay? If you have to multiply or divide, only multiply or divide, and only if it is a negative number, okay? If you have to multiply or divide by a negative number, the sign changes, okay? It swaps. So let's write like this, change the direction of the sign, okay? The direction of the sign. That's what you have to do, all right? Let's try to understand this with a couple of examples. Let's say, for example, that we have this inequality that says 4x minus 1 is is less than or equal to 7. If I am to solve this inequality, again, the same as an equation. So I'm gonna move, I'm gonna have all the terms with x on the one side and all the other terms on the other side. So in this case, I'm gonna move the negative 1 to the other side. So 4x is gonna be less than or equal to 7. This is subtracting, so it goes to add 7 plus 1. So here we have that 4x is less than or equal to 8. Now, the 4 that is here multiplying will move to the other side to divide. But as because this guy is positive, so is 8, it will be moving to divide 4. So I'm moving to divide, but the value 4 is positive 4. So nothing happens, and this sign still remains like this, okay? X is less than or equal to 8/4, which basically says that x is less than or equal to 2, okay? And this is the solution of our inequality. Nothing happens, exactly the same step by step as an equation. Now, let's analyze this case. If I have this inequality, negative 3x plus 5 is less than or equal to, well, let's say just less than, for a change, to 17. All right, I need to solve for x. Again, exactly the same as an equation. So let's start by solving this thing exactly as an equation. So negative 3x is less than 17. The 5 is adding, it goes to subtract. So negative 3x is less than, this will be 12. Next step, I'm going to leave the x here. I need to move the negative 3. As it is multiplying, it will move to the other side to divide. Negative 3. And then again, because I'm multiplying, or dividing, in this case I am dividing by a negative number, the direction of the sign changes. So it was less than originally, so now because I'm dividing by a negative number, it becomes greater than, okay? Pay attention to the change from here to here. It was less than, now because I'm dividing by a negative number, it should be greater than. And we continue solving. X will be greater than, this will be negative 4. And again, that will be the solution of your inequality. Exactly the same as an equation, just pay attention that if you're multiplying or dividing by a negative number, you need to change the direction of the sign. All right? That's it for inequalities. May you have any doubts? Let me know. I'm here to help.